In this video, we're going to fix a customer's hard drive fuse and recover their data. Do hard drives have fuses, you ask? Yes. All electronics have fuses, generally speaking, to protect the electronics. 3.5-inch hard drives are dual voltage input. They have 12 volts, which powers a spindle motor, and 5 volts, which powers the actual hard drive's electronics. So here's a similar PCB. The 5 volts will power all this electronics that control the hard drive, and the 12 volts will power this spindle motor to actually spin the platters up. Now, let me show you. I've got on my power supply here, I've got the 12 volt channel and I'll turn it on. So I've got the 12 volts going in and we've got 0 amps, 0 watts, 0 energy going to the drive. I'll turn on the 5 volt channel and I'm getting exactly the same behavior. So this is showing me that there's an open circuit somewhere, and hopefully it's the fuse. Now I'll plug in the one on the right and run that exact same demonstration. So I'll turn the 12 volt channel on first. We're 0 because that's just the power, the spindle motor. But once I hit the 5 volts on, this hard drive should turn on, initialize, and start to spin the drive up. And we'll get the microphone in. So you can see on the meter instantly that we've gone to high voltage on the 12 volt as it spins up, and then we can see the 5 volt electronic side also operating. This is a good working hard drive. It's spinning, we're seeing activity on it, and this will detect in a computer. So now I have to take the PCB off the dead one and start having a look and see what's gone wrong. Okay, so the PCB of a hard drive has got two connectors, the SATA data and the SATA power. Now, if we go on the reverse side, we can check out the pins here. We're not interested in the SATA data connection. We're literally looking at why we've got an open circuit on the SATA power side of things. So this customer was installing other hardware in their PC when this failed. And it's very common for electronics to be damaged with user faults or mistakes or power spikes. So I think what's happened here is the customer may have bumped the power supply to this hard drive and it's caused a spike and damaged, hopefully, the fuse. Now, when we look at the SATA power connector, we've got multiple pins. And they've divided them up with the first three being a 3.3 volt, which isn't used in this case, that's just common to the connector. The next three, set of three, are the ground. Then these three here are the 5 volt. Then we've got 1, 2, 3 again as another ground. And then the final block of 3 pins is the 12 volt rail. The reason why they do 3 pins per wire is to handle higher power demand. It's universal for anything that requires a SATA plug. It also provides some mechanical stability by holding this connector on better. Now, there is a color coding as well. If we go back to our power cable, the orange here is our 3.3, the black is our ground, the red is our 5 volt, back to black is our ground, and the yellow is our 12 volt rail. Now, because it's not showing any activity, I'm actually already kind of thinking to look at the 5 volt side of things. So, we know this block of 3, 1, 2, 3 here, these 3 pins is our 5 volt rail. If we follow the trace in a bit, this is our first component here. And wouldn't you know it, that is actually a little fuse. So let's try and zoom in and have a physical look at it, see what we can tell. I'm going to the microscope where it's a little bit more obvious. So the 5-volt rail again, 1, 2, 3, and we can follow that right down to our first component. And yes, generally speaking, the first thing in electronics usually is a fuse. And you can actually physically see that there's some damage done. There's a hole protruding. That's not normal. On the other side, if we follow the 12-volt power rail, we follow the circle down and we get straight to the same thing. We've also got another fuse on the 12-volt line. And the 12-volt line looks actually physically okay. So if we use a multimeter in continuity mode, I can actually follow the flow of 5 volts coming from the connector, and it will beep telling me there's a connection, and I'll follow it down to this fuse. And on the input of the fuse, we do have continuity. We have a 5-volt flow. Let's see what happens if we go the other side. If we touch that, nothing. So there's our open circuit. Now let me demonstrate that to you on the other side where there's a 12-volt fuse. So one side we're going to touch the pins of the 12-volt input and we're going to check that. We're going to follow it down to the fuse. All good. Let's go to the other side of the fuse. All good. The 12 volts is flowing into the PCB. Okay, so I'm going to take this little fuse out of circuit. We know it's not working. And I'm going to replace it with a new one. If you have a look underneath of it, it's just a little piece of ceramic with a black coloured film on the top. They've all got different markings as well. This one says HX. Okay, so I'm actually going to take one from another PCB, and it's even a different brand. Doesn't matter, we just need to get the job done. They're all the same. Generally speaking, I think this is a 0402 surface mount size. If you can correct me on that, leave a comment. It's hard for me to remember all the sizes. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of flux to resolder the new one in. You can see it's the same size and it fits perfectly. Oop. We're getting close to 400 degrees to resolder this. Come on. There you go. That's in there. So just while we're waiting for that to cool down, we'll be able to test it, but I wanted to show you there's some more circuit protection on this PCB. If we have a look, if we follow from after this fuse, we get to a couple of large looking diodes. Here, here, here. And that's another part of the safety, electronic safety. These diodes are transient voltage suppressors, and they're designed to stop power spikes. So any large instant spikes, they can instantly filter that spike out to help protect the circuit. So there's a little bit more than what you see. Okay, I'll just screw the connectors down, and I'm going to go back to this original test where I applied the 5 volts and the 12 volts. These use a special screwdriver, by the way, not very common to get a hold of. So let's connect our SATA power to this drive. I'll turn the 12 volt line on first here. So we've got 12 volts with no activity, which is good, that's normal. So once I hit the 5 volts, hopefully if I've cleared this damaged fuse, we should see activity again. So let's hit that up and listen in. Instantly we see a high current going to the spindle motor, and we see activity on the 5 volt line. Okay, a little bit noisy. So first thing I need to do now is data safety. I need to get all the data off this drive. You're probably thinking, well, can I use this drive again? Well, maybe. If your hard drive has had electrical damage to the point that it's blown components, then it's probably not safe to use if the data is important. So I always get the data off first and make sure it's safe. Okay, and then the customer can decide what they want to do. Usually, more often than not, once you start doing heat cycles, and there may be other damaged components on this PCB. It's always hard to tell. It's never as simple as I just laid it out. So I got to get the data off it. Let's plug it in and see if it works. Okay guys, we've just connected the hard drive. It has detected normally. That's a good sign. We'll just run a quick test on this and make sure it's okay. As you can see, we've got the model. It's 4 terabytes. There's no other errors reported yet. It's currently running at about 26 degrees, and it's a 7200 RPM hard drive. We're getting 135 megabytes per second. So this is good. This is good for the customer. They'll get their data back. Again, if you're new to the channel, I upload regular data recovery and computer science videos. So I hope to see you again soon.